Hi, folks. Frank Amodeo here. We're here to talk about my college, the end of my college years, my first couple jobs after college, and a couple business ventures. I ask that you bear with me, as some of this is tough to talk about. There were some good days back then and some dark days, folks. I thank you for being here. I'll do my best in this video. Now, in the summer of '86, the CIA offered me a job after I finished law school. I had about a year left of law school to go, and they offered me a job. Long story short, that we had several different interviews and tests, and they said I tested better in high, uh, high stress situations, which in my opinion is true. And I was busy at the time, folks. I was trying to get my PhD, and I was my last year of law school, which was stressful. And at the same time, my father was diagnosed with cancer. All right, so I decided to not finish my PhD and be there for him, which I don't regret at all, folks. I did manage to finish law school, thankfully, but the CAA I couldn't deal with them, so that never worked out. We just kind of I just never pursued that. Like I said, I did graduate with my law degree, and like I said, I wasn't able to complete my doctorate thesis in capital Genesis. So after that ended, that it was what it was. You know what I mean? I don't regret that, but after I got my law degree, so the next thing, I ended up taking a job as a consultant, conducting seminars of 401k programs. And I also took a second job, folks, at Hyatt Legal Services, handling civil cases. I liked that job. I liked them both. It kept me busy. It's good for me to be busy always, folks. Anyways, I ended up with more and more bankruptcy cases due to several different factors. You know what I mean, folks? Um, well, what really launched my law is with the bankruptcies is I ended up going to court with Hyatt to represent ourselves. The government was suing us because we had a lot of cases that we had a lot of complaints, which is not good, folks, in the law game when they complain about you, the people. And we went to court, and the judge made me take every case that they had, over 240 cases, and I did good until I burned out, folks. All right, I made kind of a name for myself before that happened. Within a year, I was the fifth largest bankruptcy attorney in Atlanta, which I'm still proud of. I was on top of my game, folks. You know what I mean? I married in 1988, I married Claire Holland. She was an associate manager for one of Hyatt's offices, and Claire was fully aware of my desire to conquer the planet. She tried to laugh it off. She's the only one that she didn't like it. She wasn't happy about it. She always changed the subject, and eventually she knew I was serious, folks. You know what I mean? I tried to be a good husband and father. I should have done better. I did my best at the thought at the time, but I shouldn't have been trying to work two jobs at the time. And I should have told Hyatt, you get somebody else to. I can't do 240 cases at once. But anyways, that's not what happened. Roughly around 1990, I started a new law firm, Amodeo, Durden, Thompson. We had roughly a dozen attorneys and about roughly 20 support staff. Once again, I took on too much, folks. I took on 1,000 clients at a time in a year and about 600 bankruptcy cases. I had turned our little firm into a mill, folks. So it was going good when it was good. You know what I mean? It turns out both of my partners were troubled individuals, folks. It negatively Their troubles ran deep, and I'm not going to speak ill of them, but it negatively affected their job performance. And it didn't help that I wasn't paying attention like I should have. You know what I mean? I should have been. I should have had my eye on the ball a little better, folks. But that's once again not what happened. All right, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed at that. You know what I mean? In my own business, and I couldn't. I just felt overwhelmed, and I must have overdid it one day, folks, because I fell down a flight of stairs. Hurt my hand. I hurt my hand. I refused. I refused, folks, to leave the hospital. All right, I felt depressed. And in those days, it was the old days. They didn't recognize depression in the successful men. You know, I went home and I went to bed for several weeks. I couldn't deal with that anymore. During that time, my business fell apart, folks. My law license was suspended along with my partners. It was a mess. So after several, excuse me, folks, a little Pepsi always helps me out. Thanks for bearing with me, folks. I changed gears, folks. After that, all right. I partnered with a few successful businessmen. We started buying companies in the area. I felt good. I felt it made me feel good again. Once again, I was on top. All right. We started buying companies and it was going good, and had about 4.5 good years until 1995. I was arrested for a misunderstanding, folks. They were investigating my old law firm from the 1990s, early 90s. They said there was money missing. Well, they had charged me, and then they charged me in 1998 before the statute, um, was going to expire. I had to pay $50,000, folks, for an accounting error. And once again, folks, I should have fought the trumped up charges, but that's not what happened. You know what I mean? At the time, my wife Claire at the time broke through several layers of red tape and convinced the government that I needed to be locked up. I had to go to shock boot camp, folks, 1999. I made the most of my time there. It was a rough start. The warden didn't like me, he didn't like lawyers, and he didn't like criminals, and I was happy to be both. But I made the most of it. You know what I mean? There was some good times there. But the bad thing is all my businesses once again fell apart. I thank you for listening to Frank Amodeo, the college and early business years. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.